There's a verse in the Quran, you might be familiar with it. It's from Surah al-Buruj. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الْبُرُوجِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْمَوْعُودِ. Right at the end it says, Allah says, بَلْ هُوَ. Do you know it? قُرْآنٌ مَجِيدٌ في لوح محفوظ. And I'm not going to put the vowels on the end of that. It's
making some noise.
Oh, is it? I'm blinded. So, bel, we haven't studied bel. Bel is a corrective device. So, I come up to someone and say, do you know what? You're a donkey. And I say, no, that's too good for the donkey. You're a pig. The bel correct, you know I said no. Rather, you're this. And it's not really disqualifying the first one. It's still on the same theme. Do you get the point? That you're trying to insult the person. Clear? And then I say, you know you're an idiot. No, you're fantastic. Here, you're disqualifying the first one. You're not an idiot. Rather, you are fantastic. Do you see the difference between the two? Bel comes as a corrective tool. It corrects what's been said before. It either gives more emphasis, like the first one, you're not a donkey, you're a pig. Or, you're not an idiot, you are fantastic and wonderful. Okay? Or, a guy says to his wife, you look fat in that. No, you look lovely. Okay, that's probably an example you can... Does that make sense? Where you are correcting something, or you look lovely in that love, or you look gorgeous. That one's not disqualifying the first one. It's just... Does that make sense? That's the bell. So, what's the context of this? The context of this surah is talking about the people of the pit who were killed by a king, a Yemeni king, who was actually a Jewish king, and there was people who turned to Christianity. Yeah? And there's a story, they say it's linked to the story of, the boy that was the magician's apprentice. I don't know if you're familiar with the story. That's a whole story in itself. But the king couldn't kill the guy, and he tried to kill him in various ways, and in the end, basically, he killed him in a way that showed that the boy was on the truth, and all the people accepted the faith. And so he said, I'm going to put you in a pit and burn you to death if you don't turn away from your faith. Okay? And so, but all the people said, no, we've seen the truth, and we're going, very similar to the sorcerers of Musa. Okay? We don't care what you have to say, we're on the truth. So they were burnt, and there was one lady with a baby, and the baby said, mother, don't, it's spoken to his mother. It says, you have faith that you're on the truth. And when they touched the fire, immediately they didn't feel it, and their souls went up. That's a story. Okay? Why is this being mentioned, this story? Because it's saying you can't fight the truth. You might kill the people, you might persecute them. It won't ever stop the truth happening. Because that's what the Quraysh were doing, weren't they? The Quraysh were persecuting the Muslims, all sorts. And that's what people do if they don't think they can get rid of you through, through negotiations. Eventually, what happens? I'm just going to pummel the guy, basically. And this is a context. And so, Allah's saying here, وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الْبُرُوجِ. The heavens and the constellations. You can't even fathom how deep and how great this Quran is and this message is. You look at the stars and you don't really realise the mystery behind them. This is something bigger than you. So don't try to fight it. Okay? And then it moves down all this about the power of Allah, and you can't basically, if you stand against him, you're just going to lose out. And then he says, rather, no, it's not what you say. Rather, it is a what? It is a recitation. What's Majid? Do you know? It's a new word for us. Amjad, Majid, very typical Pakistani names, aren't they? It means exalted, majestic. Yeah, they say that Quran al-Majid, don't they? Majestic. So a majestic what? This is an adjective. Notice, indefinite in green case. So what is it? Rather, it is a majestic recitation. Because it's not saying it's the Quran, is it? So it's just a majestic recitation. in, what's a lawh? A tablet, you know, with the lawh al-mahfuz, where everything's recorded, yeah? So a lawh is a tablet you write on. In Morocco, they memorise Qur'an on the lawh. They write it on the Qur'an. I don't know if you've seen it. They have like a wooden plaque and they write the Qur'an and they memorise like that. So it's in a lawh. And what's mahfuz mean? Protected. From hifz. Hifz is to protect something. Because when you memorise something, you're protecting it, aren't you? From being forgotten. Now, what's interesting here is, it says, Bal huwa Qur'anun Majid. It's an exalted Qur'an. It's exalted. You can't touch it. Even if you were to burn all the copies, it's not going to get rid of it. Because this is from Allah and it's come as the truth. It's recorded, it's in a tablet. You can't destroy this. You can't just kill people and burn the book and think it's going to go. This is coming, it's the truth, and it will last. Is that clear? This is what I'm interested in. It's in a tablet, mahfuz. There's two different narrations in the Qur'an. There's mahfuz, then, and there's another riwayah, another narration, mahfuz, dhun. If we go with mahfuz then, which is the Hafs and Asim, the version of the Qur'an, when I say version of the Qur'an, don't get panic, it's different recitations. Well, if you say mahfuz then, what's that describing? The lawh. So it's that's clear. If we put a double dhamma on it, what's it describing? Recitation. So you ask the question, well, if that's an adjective for that, then why is it not here? Because an adjective should be right after its noun. Is that clear for everybody? An adjective, a descriptive word that's describing a word, should come straight after. Why is it here? This is a linguistic device. Allah sometimes delays the adjective for more punch. So he says, it is a majestic recitation in a tablet, and guess what? It's protected. Don't think you can get to it. Don't think you can just burn the copies and wipe it off the face of the earth. You won't be able to. And so he delays it. It's exalted. You can't really reach it. It's way above. And also it's completely protected. And so he's delayed the adjective after for two purposes. One, for extra oomph. You delay something, you don't think it's coming. And then suddenly, boom, it comes in there. You know that punch? Like you think, bam. Yeah. Second reason is to create the ambiguity. Is it the lawh that's protected or the Qur'an? And in essence, it's the same thing. Because the Qur'an is written in the lawh al-mahfuz. Okay? And so it gives that ambiguity about what's really, and in the essence, they're the same thing. And the fact is, we stop at this bit, don't we? In the Qur'an, we recite it, بَلْ هُوَ قُرْآنٌ مَجِيدٌ فِي لَوْحٍ مَحْفُوظ. We stop. And because we stop, that even leaves ambiguity, because we're not saying the dhamma, double dhamma or double kasra. Which word is it describing? But you'd assume it's describing, obviously, the lawh, because it's right next to it. But Allah gives a uppercut, basically. The Qur'an is like a mic, it's like Muhammad Ali in the boxing ring. It hits you, like you expect this, and then you're, oh my God, why is it like this? But the translation is impossible for that to convey that. But in the Arabic, it's like, boom, surprises coming all over the place. And so that creates that delay and ambiguity in order that you're asking, is it describing this or this? And reality, the Qur'an is the lawh mahfuz, it's in the lawh mahfuz, and so you can never erase this Qur'an, and you can never really fight it. You're fighting a futile mission. It's a futile mission. Does that make sense? Yeah? So sometimes the whole point is an adjective might come way after, when you'd assume that it would come straight, and that's for dramatic impact and to create the ambiguity about what it's really describing. Okay, and for you to sort of ponder upon that.